Good evening, everyone. It's so good to see you here today, tonight. Welcome to tonight's live. Please do let me know if you can see me and hear me clearly. Hi, Francis. Hi, Raksha. Hi, Uli. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Carol. Hi, Soraya. Awesome. Lots of people are joining. I'm super excited for this class. Hi, Santi. Sounds good. Awesome. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Anne. Hi, Svindile. Okay, looks like all is good. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Caroline Teixeira. I'm a proud Cricut ambassador, and tonight we are going to be doing a Cricut beginners class, and I'm going to be walking you through how to make your very own watercolored styled infusible ink ceramic coaster. That is a mouthful, but I am trusting that you are going to leave your confidence in making your very own. So without further ado, I'm going to switch on over the screen so that you can have a look at the project that we're going to be making and also all the supplies that you're going to be needing. So let's go. Please do engage in the comments. I am going to be keeping my eye on the comments. Sorry, I got distracted there. If there are any questions, please pop them down below. And if I don't get to them, there is a lovely group of admins that are ready to get to them. So let's get started. Okay, so here is the beautiful coaster. It is very bright in here, so I hope you can see. I'm just going to maneuver it around a little bit. There you can see that it is colored in with the watercolors, and I've also splashed some little blotches, some little speckles all over, and it just gave it a nice rounded off look, which is super cute. So tonight we're going to be changing the design a little bit, but yeah, we'll walk you through that. We are going to be needing a Cricut machine, obviously. I've got my Maker 4 over here, and I do recommend using either the Explore series or the Maker series because there are no infusible ink markers or pens available yet for the Cricut Joy or the Joy Extra. So these machines would be better. Although if you are wanting to make your very own infusible ink coaster, you are still able to do then using the Cricut Infusible Ink Sheets. Okay, so you are going to be needing a light grip mat because we are going to be working on normal copy inkjet printer paper. And I've got quite a few sheets over here, so I do recommend having a few on hand, and I will walk you through that a little bit later. And then some Cricut acetate sheets. We are going to be using this with the markers a little bit later, so that's going to be fun. And then you're going to be needing your EasyPress. I've got my 12 by 10 here. It is the only one I have apart from my mini press, so we're going to be using her tonight. And then we are going to be using some infusible ink markers. Now they come in various packagings, and this is a pack that I actually bought from a friend of mine. And these colors are super cute. They are very versatile and awesome for those beginner projects. And then they also come in this 5-pack, which this is the neon range, and I just could not resist in getting these. This neon pink is actually my very favorite. So those are cool. I do love having the 30 pack though. There is a variety of all the different colors. So this is super, super fun to make tons and tons of different projects. And I actually had a look on the secret sale. The 0.4 millimeter infusible ink 30 pack is actually half price. So please do not walk, run and get yourself a packet. That is www.secretsale.co.za. So we're going to be using these tonight as well. And also we're going to be using a paintbrush. I've got this little guy over here that you can fill up water. And some Cricut heat transfer tape. And also, of course, our infusible ink compatible ceramic coaster by Cricut. This is awesome. It is a 4-pack, which is lovely because you can actually half this and have a set of 2 different sets, 2 with 2 different designs, or a 4-pack that you can gift or sell if you have a small business. And this is really such a wonderful addition to have to any project. Okay, we're also going to be needing some water in a water palette to clean our brush in between. And then for our EasyPress as well, we're going to be needing our EasyPress mat and Teflon sheet. And that is pretty much it. So let's get started. Okay, this is Cricut Design Space. I have already shared the project, so if you want to follow along, you are more than able to do so. And if you are not able to stay for the entire duration of tonight's live, then you can always go back to it and do it when you have time. So this is Cricut Design Space, and what I wanted to show you here is on the far left. Here is a few buttons. And this is the Discover button, where you are going to essentially discover tons of different projects that you can just click on and customize, or go directly to the Make It screen and make it your own. And this is the My Stuff button. This is where you're going to find all your projects that you have saved or not yet shared publicly on Design Space. All of your projects will be shared and saved over there. I do highly recommend saving all your projects so that you just keep a record and almost like a portfolio for yourself. And then you can see how you have grown on your Cricut and creative journey. This is the Cricut Access button. And I do highly recommend getting Cricut Access. There are 2 options where you can subscribe. There is a monthly subscription where you can cancel and then reapply at any time, or there is the yearly subscription option as well, which is lovely, so that you can just always have the opportunity to just open up Cricut Design Space and do any project your heart's desire. Okay, and this is actually what I wanted to show you. So these 3 waves are the heat guide. So if you click onto it, it is going to open up the heat guide website. So I just want to flip on over the screen so that you can have a look. My screen is a little bit restricted over here. So I just wanted to show you briefly, because I'm going to be using the Cricut Heat app on my phone a little bit later when we are pressing the coaster. But I just wanted to show you how awesome Cricut really just thinks about everything. This is where you are going to be choosing the press that you have. And then towards the bottom, you're just going to be scrolling. My screen is just not allowing me to do so. But then it's going to ask, you need to choose which press you've got. And then you're going to choose the heat transfer material that you are wanting to press on. And also the base material as well, which is so awesome. It really takes out all the guesswork, and it shows you and tells you if you need to apply pressure, how many minutes, and what the heat settings would need to be. So that is really so awesome and takes out all the guesswork, which is lovely. So let's go back and let's go on over to Canvas. Hi everyone that is joining. Kamal, I may begin. Let's go. Okay, here is the project. Okay, so these are the two. This is the first one that I have already made, and this is the one we are going to be making tonight. And we're going to do this completely from scratch as it is a beginner's project. We are going to be going a little bit slow, but you are going to just see how easy it is to make this project. Hi Lolly. Okay, so I'm going to be hiding both of them, and let's create it from scratch. So the very first thing we are going to be needing is a shape, a circle. This is our base, this is our coaster. So I'm just going to change it to white so that we can visualize it. And the measurements for the coaster is 9.14 if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to, whoa, excuse me there. Oh, oops. There we go. 9.1. What is going on? 9. Oh my goodness. It is not allowing me to put the 0.1. Why? I don't know. Let's just do this manually over here. Okay, I'm going to work with a 9.1 because I have found that there is enough room around it just to create that little border, and I'm happy with that. Okay, I see Lolly has answered one of those questions. Good evening, Candace, welcome. Okay, so that is our coaster. Now we are going to add an image. And there, like I said, when you're subscribed to Cricut Design Space, Cricut Access, there are so many beautiful already available images for you to choose from. And yeah, you can really just search for anything and you will find something that you love and you can edit or use as is. So as you can see, I've typed in Pinktober. And here are some beautiful designs that you can really go ahead and just add to your canvas. I'm going to click on this tab over here and I'm going to filter it out to the bookmarked images that I have already bookmarked. And I'm going to use this one. Kim shared it on Monday, I think it was, or last week Monday, a few of the images that are ready to use on Design Space, and I really fell in love with this one. I loved how big the flower is. I think we'll have a lot of fun in painting and yeah, adding this a little bit later. So I'm just going to size it as big as possible, leaving just a little lip or little small diameter around the entire image, just so that it fits quite nicely. And I'm quite happy with that. Okay, and this is a grouped image. So if you go over here to the layers panel, you'll see that there is 2 layers to this image. I want to add a flower to this area over here, but I want to add the exact same flower as is already used in this design. So I'm going to click on the very first element of this image and I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to go over down here and I'm going to duplicate the image. Now I'm going to my edit tool again. And I'm going to click on contour so that I can remove all the excess elements. I just want one extra flower. So I'm going to go and hide all contours, and it's going to always select the very first one that is on top. Otherwise, it's basically just deleted the entire image. So now I'm going to click on the one that I actually want and then hide that first one and click apply. and add my little flower. I'm just going to size it up a little bit. It's Kimothy. I absolutely love it. That is how I call her in my head. Yeah, she is awesome. Okay, let's just quickly rotate this little flower a little bit. I can really be so pedantic when it comes to some designs, and I can spend hours just resizing and rotating and all the things, but it's not always so helpful and really doesn't matter. But you know, the details, we're in the details. Oh, I'm laughing at these comments. Love it. Love it. Okay. Now you will see that because I duplicated this one element that is in this grouped image, it has already added my flower to the group as well. So I'm quite happy with that, and I'm going to change this from a basic cut on my operations to a draw, and I'm going to select the pen because we are going to essentially be drawing the image, not necessarily cutting it. Okay, and now I want to add some color. So I'm thinking 2 of the pink colors, 2 contrasting pinks, and then we're going to have some fun with the rest of the pinks that I have with the watercolors, and then that we're going to do by hand. So I'm going to head on over here to my editing tools once again, and I'm going to create an offset, a 0 offset. And this is one of the tips that I actually learned with Soraya's class the other day, and it just blew my mind, and it has been so helpful. So essentially, if you do an offset on 0, it basically duplicates the image and it is perfectly aligned, which you do not have to align it. When you duplicate it, it will just add the image as we did earlier, just a little bit off, and then you have to recenter it, and this just takes out all of that. So that is awesome. And once again, I'm going to add another one. So I'm left with 2. And then I'm going to delete our very first image. Why I'm going to delete it is that even if let's just hide these 2. If I select this image, I cannot contour it because it is a grouped image. If I attach it as well, it also still does not give me the option for the contour. So that is why I did the offset, and I'm going to delete our original and bring these 2 offsets back, and there we go. Now if I go onto my editing tools, I can modify it and contour out what I don't want, and then that way I'm going to change it to colors. Okay, love the design space suggestions. I can get lost in them for hours. Me too, me too. Okay, so the very first one I'm going to do is the offset. I'm going to contour. So let's go for hide all contours. So it's only selecting the very first one, which is the flower. So let's make life easy and select all my flowers and all my elements to the flowers. I see my design space has updated. So this is looking very different to what I usually use. So let me just quickly figure this one out. Please bear with me. I have lost my image. Let's just find her quickly. Where did she go? Let me just quickly redo that one. Okay. So I'm going to hide all contours, as I've mentioned, and it's going to select the first one. So I'm going to select all my flower elements and all my flowers because I want all of my flowers to be the same color. And I'm going to click apply. I actually love this update. It looks so awesome. Okay, so this is going to be my flowers, and I can actually change its heading over here so that I don't get confused. And I'm going to change it to flowers. Oops. Okay, now I want to change the color so that I can visualize it and also that my machine can register and prompt me a little bit later as to which color I need to put on. So I'm going to click on marker 1 millimeter. That is what we're going to be using. And I'm going to find the infusible inks and I'm going to go on with the neon pink, my favorites. Okay, so it's made all the flowers neon pink. Now I'm going to go to my other offset, my other image, and I'm going to remove all the flowers so that I'm left with the ribbon, and then I'm going to change that color too. So once again, hiding all contours, it is selecting the first one. So I'm going to just select everything that I do want and deselecting that first one again. Sometimes I find it easier to choose the elements from the sidebar. That is a good tip, yes. Especially when there are a lot of elements on the canvas, it's hard to see which one is on top. And it is easier to do that. And that's why giving it a name and a heading does help too. I agree with you, Lolly. So there is my ribbon. Once again, I'm going to change the color. First changing it from the fine point to a marker. And then I'm going again, finding all the infusible inks. And I think we're gonna go with bubblegum. Yes, I quite like that. What do you guys think? Okay. Now I would like my machine to draw it not once but twice, just so that once the colors, once the infusible inks is infused onto the coaster, the colors do become a lot more vibrant and I really want it to pop. So I'm going to, once again, heading on over to the editing tool, I'm going to click an offset and I'm going to apply a 0 offset so that I'm left with 2 exact images and they're aligned perfectly. And I'm going to do the same with my ribbon. Once again, 0 offset. I love how Design Space with this new update also remembers the offset that we have been using. So that is why it pops up on 0. And there we go. And now my machine is going to prompt me and it's going to know that it needs to draw twice the very same object. Oops. Okay, and there we have it. That is our design finished. So I'm going to select all my items and I'm going to click on attached so that it's going to cut and draw on the same space and it's not going to move all my different colors, all my different elements onto different mats. So there we have it. And yes, it is pretty much the same with the other one. Okay, and we are going to click on make it. Oh, another thing. So if I go on to making my design, I go on to matte because this is not a smart material and click on confirm. This is one area where I can have the image mirrored, or I can do it on my canvas. Now, why I'm doing it here and Design Space is not doing it automatically for me when I choose my material is because we are going to be drawing on a material that doesn't require it being mirrored because we are going to be using the copy paper. But essentially we are going to be needing the image itself to be mirrored because we're going to be drawing it on top and then flipping it on over to our coaster, and then that is the design that's going to be placed and infused onto our coaster. So it's not a big train smash with this design that we have on here, because either way it will look pretty and either way it will make sense and it will be readable. But if we had a name or a word, for example, such as hope, which is so fitting for Pinktober, we would need to have it mirrored so that it is written on mirrored, flipped over right side onto the coaster, and then it would be able to be read properly. So I hope that makes sense. So I am going to select my image and I'm going to flip it horizontally already onto my canvas so that I don't have to worry about it at a later stage. And I'm going to click on Make It. Would the system of selecting and choosing a color help with keeping a design in place when you want to do a layered project? I find that my Cricut wants to cut all the elements in the most economical way, but I want my elements to remain where they are, if this makes sense. So yes, that is the reason why I attached my entire all my elements and my entire project as that, so that the machine will register this as one project basically. So it's going to be cutting and then prompting me to change out the two different colors of the markers, and then it's going to be doing it all on the same page and all the same side basically. I hope that answers your question, Fiona. Okay, so we're going to click on Make It. I'm going to choose Matte, and I've already mirrored it, but this, if you have not flipped it on your canvas, this would be where you are going to mirror your design, and then click on Continue. Okay, so here are all the set basis material that is compatible for this project, and I'm going to click on Copy Paper. And it's going to tell me to load the bubblegum infusible ink pen into clamp A, and my clamp B is already loaded with my fine point blade. So I'm just going to switch on over here. Okay, I'm going to be switching on my EasyPress as well, just so that it can start heating up. Here is my light grip mat. We're removing the protective sleeve, and I'm going to be adding my copy paper. All right, I'm going to be using my brayer. I've been using my mat quite a lot, so I'm just hoping it is sticky enough, which it will be. I'm going to move all my things over. Let's put the pens over here. Okay, I'm going to load my mat into my machine. And it was the bubble gum, if I can remember correctly. And I'm going to load that into clamp A, and there is an arrow showing where to place it, and I like to just align it in front. It won't make a difference because it is a felt tip pen and it is not like those calligraphy pens, so it won't make a difference. And I'm going to click on Go. Alright, now it's telling me to change my marker, and I'm changing it to the neon pink. Loading that one in, hearing for that click, then I know it's securely in place, and hitting go. Okay, now it is checking for the right blade in clamp B. And there it is. Okay, just want to close my marker. And it is done. There is the design. It's so much bigger than the previous one. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, I'm going to flip my mat upside down. I have lost the comments. I'm going to have a look now. Okay. I flip my mat over so that it avoids the curling. And that I can use that material again. And this is where you can use your little spatula, especially because the copy paper is very delicate. I just want to take extra care so that it doesn't curl up, so that I can adhere it to the coaster flat and nicely a little bit later. And there we have it. Please do cover your mat as soon as you are done with it, so that it avoids any dust. Okay, and there we have it. There is our design. Now we are going to have fun with the markers and basically color it in by hand. Okay, so I'm going to take my water palette and my acetate sheets. I use this one, maybe I'll use this one. Okay, so we're going to have fun. I'm going to whip out all my pink markers. Okay, maybe not all of them, a few of them. So this is Rose. I'm going to use bubble gum as well. And from the other 5-pack, I quite like this color as well. It is Cardinal. And maybe Rose as well. It's more of a dusty rose. Okay. All right. So I want the border to obviously pop. So I'm going to be playing around with the colors, and it's going to give that watercolor effect. So it's not going to be as bold and as bright as the borders that the machine has actually painted and drawn on for us. So I just want to find my paintbrush. Okay, so this is the fun part. I'm going to draw a little bit with my neon marker on my acetate sheet. And why we use acetate is because it is a plastic and the pigment is not infused or drawn into the material. It actually stays on the surface that we can actually just pick up with our paintbrush. So I'm going to just wet it a little bit. I did not put water in its little thingamajiggy bottle because I want to have control with the water and how much water I'm going to be using. So I drew on with my pink, and I'm going to pick up the pigment a little bit with my hand. Now, because this is a neon pink and it is quite bold, I am going to just be drawing a few little lines over here just to make that ribbon look realistic. And this is where you can really just have fun. No need to be pro, no need to be pedantic with this. This is just fun. And I consider myself no expert, so I'm really just having fun. And I just love how I don't have to be an expert at anything. My Cricut will help me along with whatever project that I have in my head, in my mind to do. My Cricut will make it and bring it to fruition for me. Okay, I'm going to choose a new color, and this is Rose. which is a little bit lighter than the bubble gum. So I'm going to be drawing on my acetate again, and here I won't be really seeing the true color of all these markers, because only once it is infused into the material will the colors actually pop. So don't fear, all is going to come so nicely in at the end. And what is also awesome is that I can be using quite a lot of water and going over my border, and it's not going to go anywhere. So that is really, really cool and very helpful, so that I don't have to make a big blotch of mess. It's actually going to be perfect. Sorry guys, I lost my comments. So also, just please be careful with how much water you are using, because this is copy paper and it is very delicate and we don't want it to tear. You can also color this by hand directly with the marker, obviously also taking care with pressure and how much you are going over the same spot as well. So I would actually love to hear from you all if you have done this method before, and what did you do? Okay, so I'm just coloring in, having fun. This is really so therapeutic. Oh, I found the comments. I'm back. Okay. So I'm just keep on drawing and picking up pigments as I go along. Just please be careful with your water and your machine. I'm actually going to close it because I am done with her. Okay. Now you can obviously here mix up some colors, and you don't have to go with what you initially had in mind. You can just go with the flow, and if you think, hey, I'm not liking this so much, just change it up. And you can always deposit more pigments as you go along if you just allow this to dry a little bit and then go for more pigments once you see that it is dry, and it can take a little bit more water. Okay, so remember, you are adding a little bit of pigment and then allowing the pigment to fade, just to give it that more watercolor effect as you go along, and adding more pigment as you go along. And of course you can use bigger brushes as well. And this is so fun. And you can do it with mugs as well. And obviously the surface will also go, the surface will be a little bit big as well, so even more fun can be had when making a bigger design. Okay, I'm excited to see what this one's going to look like. So I'm moving my little spot in where I'm colouring in because it's obviously wet from where I've picked it up with my wet paintbrush. So it's not going to really deposit some pigment onto that spot. And that's why I am moving it around. So as you can see, I'm going over the border and it's not erasing that line. It's not moving it about, which is so nice. So I'm going to be left with those crisp, clean edges, which is so awesome. I could spend hours doing this. I don't know when to stop. Less is more, less is more. Or more is more, more is more. Yes, an ombre effect. I agree. Imagine that. You see, that would be amazing. I didn't think of that. I did not think of that, Fiona. That is such a good idea. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit more. I'm always such a little extra kind of girl. So I just want to make sure. So this little part of the ribbon is dry, so I can go back in with more. And I think I'm happy with that. Kate says, missed the beginning. Is it regular printer paper? I'm dying to try my pens, but so nervous. Yes, it is regular printer paper. So yes, I'm sure you have that at home. So please do give it a try. You are going to have so much fun with it. Okay, now I'm going to keep my rows open and I'm going to be using my cardinal. Oh, and this is more of a vibrant pink. I don't know if you can see. And I'm going to just clean my brush, wet it a little bit, and add some, ooh, so pretty. I feel like this is so up Sarah's alley, all the pink shades. I also love, love, love pink. So this is so awesome. And maybe we could have some fun with this and maybe just draw with the marker, a little dot in the middle, just to make it a little bit different. In case you want to add a little bit that you have forgotten to do on Design Space. And then I'm going to go in with the bubblegum color. And again, this one you can hardly see, but it is definitely depositing color onto the acetate sheet. And please do be gentle with your pens. They do go a long way. And yeah, we want to look after everything that we have that is Cricut related. We do not waste and we do not damage. We love our Cricut supplies. Okay, so I'm just colouring in and going ahead with that. So it's not going through, so do check that. Let's continue with the bubble gum. Imagine every petal a different color of pink. Oopsie. And let's go with this dusty rose. It is dry here on top, so I'm just going to use this little space over here because it is dry. And as you can see, this almost does not look like a pigment at all, but I'm going to go ahead on it because I'm going to remember that the colors are going to come alive once it is infused onto the coaster. Okay. Just adding some water just to give it that watercolor effect. Okay, I don't know what color I should do next for the big flower. Choices. Let's go with bubblegum, and then we can add maybe some detail. Okay, so I'm going to be coloring in quite a lot for the big flower. Oh wow, that is such a wonderful tip, Lolly. So Lolly is saying that if you do not have pens, you can use the infusible ink sheets and add a drop of tour water onto them, and it can create a paint and you can use it. I love that idea. I definitely want to try that. Kate says she grabbed some on the secret sale. Awesome. Awesome. Let me just keep this one on hand. I just want to make sure I do go in with the right color. Although an ombre effect. Let's try that out. I hope that will work out. Let's try it. An ombre effect. Let's try it. Okay, so I'm going on the innermost part of the flower with a bubblegum color. And then, no, this is not bubblegum. Is it bubblegum? It's rose. Did I use rose? Okay, well, we'll soon find out. Okay. And I'm not adding any water at this point, just so that the pigment is quite bold. And then I'll add more water towards the end of the petals. And please do be careful. I see I went out of the line a little bit. That will be infused, even though I don't really see much of it. But we're going to add some blotches in any case, so that we'll just blend in with that. And please do make sure your hands are also clean and not touching the pigment. Maybe it's wise to switch on over to a bigger acetate, because those marks will infuse onto your coaster as well. So please do have maybe a wet wipe on hand to clean your hands in between. Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit more pigment, and then going in with a brighter pink, which is the bubblegum, to the rest of it, and then adding more water towards the end. Okay, making sure my hands are clean. And I'm just creating a little bit of a gradient. So I'm going over the previous color ever so slightly, so that there is not one solid line. Happy with that. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more water. I'm excited to see how this turns out. Okay. Picking up a little bit more pigment. Okay. A little bit more pigment, a little bit more water. My machine is telling me it has not been used and wants to switch off. Okay. We're almost done with this. So sometimes we can confuse the look of it being wet with the look of it being pigmented. So if I'm going to add water to it, it's going to almost look like it is colored in. So please do wait for it to dry before finishing your design and adding it to your coaster. Once it's dry, you can see if there are any patches that you can still add some pigment to before transferring it over. Okay, last little bit. Oh, I'm excited to see what this is going to look like. I hope you can see what I'm looking, or what I'm doing rather, sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. I think I'm happy with that. Okay. Now I'm going to just add some splotches. So I'm actually just going to open up the back of the marker. Oopsie, taking off the lid at the back, and there is a little bit of ink over there, especially because I've been letting them rest upright. So I'm just going to essentially flip some of the pigment all over with my brush. Just to add those little blotches. Whoopsie. There we go. You can also make some little polka dots as well. Okay. All right, I'm going to close her up and allow it to dry briefly. It dries very, very quickly because I'm not using so much water. So I'm just putting that out of harm's way, moving this out of the way too, and cleaning the rest of my surface. I don't want any more pigment anywhere else. Okay, now I'm going to bring my EasyPress mat over here, and I'm going to make a little coaster sandwich with my copy paper to protect my mat and to protect my EasyPress. Okay, so I'm going to be adding 2 or 3 copy papers to the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my coaster. There she is. My design is dry, so I'm going to turn her over, and she fits perfectly onto it. Taking my heat resistant tape, not transfer tape. I always make that mistake. Okay. Just to secure the image down. I'm going to go with 3. That should be enough. Okay. Now, because this is a circle, I'm just going to place it down upside down, making sure it is aligned nicely, and there is the same amount of spacing on every side, and taping, down. There we go. My heat tape. Okay. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to place her down carefully over there, and then once again adding some copy paper. I'm going to do 2 or 3 sheets, and then over that I'm going to put my Teflon sheets. As you can see, my sheets has been through the most, so I just want to protect her. And then I want to show you on my phone, when you have the Cricut Heat Guide app, it is called Cricut Heat, you can connect via Bluetooth your EasyPress to your app. So it is already on and it is so user friendly. So I've got it already connected, and I'm going to click on Start New Project, and it's going to ask me what material I'm going to be transferring. Tons of materials on here, and I'm going to select Infusible Ink Markers on copy paper. Then it's going to ask me what blank I'm going to be using, and I'm going to click on Ceramic Coaster, and I'm going to click on Next. Now it's telling me it needs 205 degrees Celsius and 240 seconds to press, and I need to peel it once it is cooled. And I'm going to click on Send Settings to my EasyPress, and it's going to send all the settings to my EasyPress. It's going to heat up for me and then have it ready, which is so cool, so awesome. And it is already heated up, already ready for me. So I'm just going to carefully place her onto my project, and I'm going to press play. It does say I need to apply no pressure. So now I just waited for it to count down, which is so cool. Let me know if you guys do have the app, and if you don't, I do recommend getting it because it is just so cool. And as you can see, it is now counting down the seconds that it needs to be transferring on. So let me know if there is any questions. I hope you're enjoying the live so far. I do apologize, we have gone over a little bit of time, but we are basically finished. We're just allowing it to press onto our coaster, and there we are. Please do be careful. This is extremely hot. Once I remove my press, my project itself, my coaster is also going to be piping hot. So please just be careful and allow time for it to cool down. I am a little bit hasty, and I am one of those that are not heat sensitive at all. I take hot showers even in summer. So I will be removing the material from the coaster so that we can have a look at what it looks like once it is done. The Heat app is definitely life-changing. I don't know what I was doing without it. Why? That would be difficult without that heat press. So I have used a mini press before. It obviously needs to be done with a lot more patience, as it will not be able to cover the entire coaster. So you would need to leave it on for the 4 minutes as well, and then move it over to make sure that it is on the other side of the design as well. So yes, it would be a little bit impossible without a heat press. The heat presses do stay consistent with their heat, and therefore allows a smooth transition of the infusible inks onto the project, onto your base. And it will be quite difficult for those that do not have one and want to use an household iron, where those temperatures do fluctuate and also has those steam holes, so it won't infuse cohesively and entirely onto the base, if that makes sense. Did you put the image face up, or did I see wrong? Good question. I think I put it upside down. I think because of the markers, it did bleed onto the other side a little bit, and maybe that's why. I hope I did not make a mistake. We'll have to just wait and see, Susie. Okay, it's beeped, it is done. I'm going to switch it off. Okay, and removing her. Okay, removing my sheets. Okay, it transferred a little bit onto my copy paper, so that is why we do a few layers. You see on all the layers there is a little bit because of the bleed, so I'm glad we did that, and it's not all over my Teflon sheet. Now please do be careful. My heat guide app does say I must peel when it is cool, but I have done this way before and it was fully infused into my coaster, and I was happy with that. So I'm actually going to remove this onto this so that it cools down faster. And there she is. Oh, so pretty. Just going to remove the tape. Please, once again, do be careful. It is extremely hot and you will burn if you touch it. I've got long nails, so that is helpful. And there she is. Oh wow. I'm holding it onto the tape so I'm not burning myself. And there you have it. I love how bold the outlines are and how the ribbon is also just quite delicate, which is so beautiful for the nature of what Pinktober really is. And yeah, what do you guys think? We have all made boo-boos. Yes, we have. And that is how we learn. Like me with the mugs upside down. I did see that. That was so cute. That was so cute. And that is how we learn. Where does the secret sale happen? It is a website. So you can go onto www.secretsale.co.za and there are tons of different deals happening over there and different products being loaded on. So please do go have a look. So what do you guys think? There she is. And now I've got a set for Pinktober that I can actually gift as a set. And it looks so pretty. Thank you to everyone who joined tonight, and I hope to see your designs and your coasters as well. Please do post them on Cricut Family South Africa. I would love to see them. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.